Greetings, class. This is Mark Hunley, and I'm here to do my second discussion post. And what I'm going to be talking about are autonomous vehicles. Because as I was driving out to Dallas these last couple of days, I heard a very interesting story on NPR regarding autonomous vehicles, which, if you do not know, these are cars that drive themselves. And what they're talking about was their concern with the safety surrounding pedestrians and bicyclists. Currently, there are cars out there, as I'm sure we have all seen commercials, that will automatically apply the brakes if the driver is not paying attention, or they can park themselves. To me, this type of technology is very nice, and it's a wonderful feature that should help to keep down the number of accidents that occur on a daily basis on the roadways in the United States. What they were discussing in regards to the cars that drive themselves, the ones that don't need any human interaction whatsoever, and it's technology that customers, or companies I should say, such as Uber, are considering. To me, the concern about this type of technology, considering my pessimistic and risk management background, is what happens if there's a malfunction in the technology that's piloting these cars. They discuss linking cell phones with sensors on the vehicles so that the vehicles could tell them when there was a pedestrian or a bicyclist in the vicinity. But how exactly is this going to work? What happens if the person is not carrying a mobile phone? One of the concerns deals with the ethical dilemma also around the accidents. If you have two people in a car and they're about to get into an accident with three pedestrians, what should the car be programmed to do? According to a survey that was published by the journal Science, most of the people surveyed said that the car should be programmed in what they call a utilitarian manner, so that the least amount of people injured would be what the choice was for the vehicle. In this case, it would be to crash the car and avoid the pedestrians. The next concern is going to be with the liability that's involved in case there is an accident. Who's going to be responsible? And the better question is, who's going to get sued? As an example, today, if I'm driving a car and I cause an accident, my insurance company is going to pay for the damages, and they're going to cover me for any liability in case there was an injury that was involved to somebody that I might have gotten into an accident with. If the car does not have a human being driving it and the technology that's being used to drive the car fails, who is now responsible for the damages? And if there are injuries or, God forbid, fatalities, who's going to get sued? Would it be Uber? Is it going to be the maker of the software that's being used to drive the vehicle? Is it going to be the car manufacturer? Most likely it's going to be all three. Forbes magazine looked at these very same issues concerning liabilities with autonomous vehicles and when they are involved in an accident, and they concluded that any liabilities in a driverless system is likely to trace back to the manufacturer, leading some analysts to worry that a shift in liability to manufacturers is going to discourage manufacturing of these types of vehicles altogether. If that's indeed the case, and the manufacturer is going to be held liable for this type of an accident, the only thing that's going to happen is the cost of that liability insurance is going to get passed on to the consumer. Last thing to really talk about, it's going to be interesting to see how the courts are going to handle cases that involve accidents associated with these driverless vehicles. The Insurance Information Institute said that liability law itself might have to evolve so that lawsuit concerns do not drive manufacturers and their suppliers out of business. I was not able to find any court cases that involved driverless cars, but according to attorneys Jack Leibowitz and Vadim Mazen, who practice law in the state of Maryland, as the law currently stands, negligent drivers who cause an accident can be held liable for any injuries caused as a result of that accident. This is not likely going to change with the advent of the driverless car. However, as driverless cars become more common, state legislatures and courts will have to determine the scope of liabilities for the parties involved in autonomous car accidents. As with any new legal issue, to a large extent, the legal landscape of these cases will be shaped by the first few cases that reach the court system. Thanks for hearing me out. I look forward to hearing anybody's comments on this particular new technology that is going to be hitting our courts here real soon, I'm sure. Thanks again.